Check. Hello. I am not looking at chat right now because I don't want to be spoiled. And you probably all saw the news already. We were a little bit busy with the FFA. I was waiting for it to end. I saw it like 30 minutes before it was over that there's an update. So now we go into this. And hopefully we got something fun, we got something fair, we got something cool. So I think you all saw the news last week that we got a patch update, PTR 2.02. That was this very one here. And it caused quite some discussion in the community. And from what I've gathered, this is the old one. From what I've gathered on forums and discussions, on calls, etc., nobody was super happy with this. So this addressed the AMD processor issue to get rid of some spikes that people were experiencing. Updated some art in the campaign selection that also sparked quite a discussion. They addressed some lighting, updated map pools, and then a couple of changes to items. Sentry Ward was addressed, Heal Ward was addressed, a Vampiric Potion was introduced, as well as a Rune of Lesser Healing as a drop. Ring got reduced. This is one change that was universally appreciated, I think. Same for the backpack. That doesn't need a shop upgrade anymore. Orb of Darkness was buffed a little bit. The two auras with movement speed were buffed out of all of them. That was an interesting one. Human got a few nerfs, but a lot of people said this is A, not enough and not targeted at the right things. Defend and siphon mana for the Blood Mage, slow, etc. Couple of buffs here with heal range for the priests. Doability of Dragonhawks a bit increased and invisibility as well. Orcs got major buffs, with Mirror Image getting a nerf, a slight one. Tauren, crazy. Lightning Orb, very good. And Venomed Spears got a nerf, but Wyvern in general got a buff by giving less experience to the opponent. This was a crazy one with Sentry Ward Stasis Traps and Healing Wards Magic Immune, aka Undispellable, and a faster expansion. This is what caused the most uproar. 3 major buffs for Orc. We'll see if that stayed the same. Night Elves were as always complaining that they didn't get enough and they were nerfed at their core hero Demon Hunter in a very core matchup as well. So maybe that wasn't ideal. Undeads, I think Undeads have been rather quiet about all of this. This is very strong. Wand of Negation doubled. Ritual Dagger, I think everybody was fine with it. Nova, everybody said, oh, this will hurt me so much, but let's be honest. It's crazy to have 800 range. Everybody appreciates a little nudge towards Fiends. This was same as the Nova for the anti-magic shield of a Banshee. Tower was something nobody really understood. Web on tier 1 caused an outrage of especially orcs. And yeah, it was all rather base. This is, I think, what people were most interested in. Dark Ranger's Life Drain got a new function that it can also allow feed enemies. So with that being said, that was all last week. And we discussed this over many hours, 5 hours on a Monday. Then I did a little video which caused some outrage with some people. Remo also talked about it for 1.5 hours. There were videos everywhere. So many forum threads. I think regarding last week, everything was said and done rather quickly. So, 1 week later. Are you ready, chat? I'm worried and hopeful. Let's see. I have no idea what's in this. I will go through this unspoiled one by one, all right? So, it is Monday, March 31st, 1 week after the first iteration of the PTR test server patch. We get an update. Did Blizzard react to the community feedback? Did they have own ideas what to implement? Was there some stuff that was maybe not finished last week but is introduced this week? We'll go through every change one by one and then we'll see if it's good or not. Appreciate the iteration speed. 1 week is really, really cool to consume it, analyze it, feedback it, and then keeps the cycle fresh for new topics. So that's really nice. Bug fixes. Fixed an issue where players could not join a private custom game by name if they did not have the map downloaded. Huh. That's a good one. That was annoying. Nice fix. Items. Vampiric Potion now grants +6 damage instead of +12 and 50% lifesteal instead of 75% for 20 seconds. Added a persistent visual effect. I think this is surely the right direction, and now we as a community need to test if this is still crazy imba or not. Right direction, thumbs up for that. Rune of Lesser Healing has reduced healing from 125 to 75. So almost cut in half. Okay. Ring of Protection 3, gold cost from 150 to 125. That is now matching the previous Ring of Protection. As a Ring of Protection +3 is a lower level item than a Ring of Protection +4. That is a nice adjustment that I think not too many people talked about. But if you find either a Ring of Protection or Gloves of Haste, they should give you the same gold cost, right? If you sell them. So we go into the nitty gritty, everybody. We go into the nitty gritty. I see this is all on top, right? So the aura changes persist. Okay. Human. Orb of Fire replaced with Orb of Slow. Orb of Slow has a 30% chance to proc on units and 15% chance to proc on heroes. Applies a 25% attack speed and 55% movement speed slow on the target for 10 and 5 seconds. Costs 325 gold. Humans have been crying for a long time that their orb only has a niche case to use. Movement speed is rarely a niche case to use. Let's go through all the changes before we react. Blood Mage Banish cooldown increased from no cooldown to 420. 420. Somehow the people in California like the numbers 420, I get the feeling. So necessary, so important. I've been yelling this from the rooftops. People can discuss numbers, but introducing a cooldown to the Banish ability that renders the target immune to physical damage, but only to magic damage is so healthy for the game. Paladin Holy Light cooldown increased from 5 seconds to 6. Okay, a lot of people have suggested that. Surely a double nerf to the Paladin and Rifles. Flying Machine movement speed reduced. Ouch! From 400 to 375. Not much, but a bit. Everything else stays the same. Yeah, they tackled human in, I think, some spots. But let's see this as a whole later. Orc. Reverted Orb of Lightning cost increase. So Lightning Orb was cheaper. Now it's the same cost, but the effect for more damage towards summoned units stays. Torrent cost increase. 20 more gold, 20 more lumber, but they keep the resistance skin. Sentry Ward health reduced to 50. Stasis Ward health reduced to 25. So both down to 25%, which now that they are magic immune, they need to have another weakness to be eliminatable from the game. Stasis Ward detonation radius reduced by 50. Stasis Ward stun duration reduced from 6 to 4 and from 2.5. So same principle here. They get this big buff of being magic immune. Other factors have been tuned down. I like that direction. Heal ward area of effect reduced by 50. Also item. Great Hall build time. From 125 to 135. So this is instead of a big buff, a small buff, which I do think the Great Hall could benefit from. Night Elf. The big one, guys. The big one. Will the Night Elves for once be happy? Reverted Demon Hunter mana burn change. I think absolutely necessary. Wisp Lumber Gather rate reduced from 8 to 7. So they need less time to gather lumber, if I understand this correctly. Moonstone duration increased. Not to 45, but to 35. This also makes it that with 2 shops, you can't create an endless night. Keeper strength gain increased. That means he has more HP in the later game, where he's arguably the weakest. Treant attack speed reduced. Okay. Interesting interaction. Don't think I hate it, though. Chimera movement speed increased to 290. They are indeed quite slow. Moonglave's upgrade now changes Huntress armor to heavy. Wee! Huntress have a very niche use case because they are light armored and then they take so much damage from piercing. If that is removed, Huntress could see a lot more usage. And the Moonglave's upgrade was kinda useless, actually. This was the bouncy glaives that they jump one more time, which only has an effect if you have 9 or more Huntress, which is rarely the case. This will surely make them tankier. And since this is only available on tier 2, it shouldn't be too dangerous for rushes. Fairy Dragon Mana Flare is now able to be toggled off before the full duration. Oh yeah, it always went through fully. So that makes them more microable. Vorpal Blade's upgrade now gives 10 damage. Any help to Vorpal Blades is appreciated, I guess. Wow. Undead. Reverted Spiked Carapace change. That was a bit too much. Reverted tier 1 web upgrade. That was a bit too much. Reverted Gargoyle ground damage change. Okay. Gargoyle movement speed reduced. Wee! Okay. Okay. Interesting way to nerf them. This will, like the previous change was only targeting the strength of gargoyles versus ground. This is targeting gargoyles as a whole. Nerubian Tower speed reverted. Wand of Negation is now single target dispel for 200 with 4 charges. I think this fills a way better niche. I said this many times. Every race has 1 single target dispel and 1 area of effect dispel. 4 charges might still be a lot. This is gonna be quite something against water elementals, maybe. I don't think... Well, we'll see if this is good or not. Holy smokes! I am immediately more interested in this one than the other one, than the previous one. I think that pushes things definitely in a better direction. It targets problems. I have to read this again to give a judgment, but there's so many things that will change things. And also interesting stuff to all races. Plus meaningful nerfs to very strong things in all races. Oi, that's a lot to discuss. Gut feeling, 5 times more positive than the previous one. But this is just a very, very, very initial feeling. And maybe we should also look at the masters list because I might have forgotten something. So let's go through this. Items. Sentry Ward's good. Heal Ward's good. Vampiric Potion, interesting. Surely right direction. Rune of Lesser Healing, I'm still not a fan, but right direction. Ring, completely correct. This on first view seems correct as well. Correct. I don't think this will matter. You'll still sell it. This is still an issue to me. That movement speed auras give more movement speed, but all right. Orb of Slow. Okay, I held judgment at first. I think this is bonkers. Every third hit will slow you for 50% for 5 seconds on a hero. Or 20. Like, if you hit once, you're dead. It's a bit of a question. Will this stack with slow? It shouldn't. But this makes it quite easy, especially for MK players. Plus Banish on top. I think this is ludicrous. I like experimenting with human orbs. I do see the problem that an Orb of Fire is a very, very niche case. But I say this in every patch discussion. Movement speed is an insane value. And it's kind of weird how they realize this here when they nerf slow. And then they give slow on an orb for basically free. I think this is completely insane. Militia Armor, I still like very much. I am aware that this has a big ripple effect, and every other change has to have this in mind. Flying Machine, I don't hate it, but I am for sure not aware of all the mechanics and all the interactions that go hand in hand with this. I want to reserve judgment on this. I think flying machines are incredibly strong. They dominate every air fight against bats to a certain point. And maybe there's an interaction somewhere that I don't immediately think of. Piercing damage, I still think this is wrong. I still think defend, if you make it available faster, is a buff to defend. I still think reflect is a huge problem because it absorbs every point of damage. Banish cooldown, yeah, it's amazing. But I gotta say, I'm a mega hater on both Banish as a skill and also Holy Light. Because if you're against it, it just feels like they spam, 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 spam. I think one of the two is enough. I think both together is too much. Even though, as a player, I'd love that. I gotta say, this is probably too much. Slow duration is still good. Heal, I can tolerate that with this change and this change. Still not sure if it's mega necessary and we should surely observe this. This is, I think, meaningless, and this is kind of cool. Oh, nice. Shout out to the person formatting this. I don't know if they always did that in the past couple of iterations, but it makes it way more readable this way, what happened and whatnot. And we've been asking for stuff like this for a long time, so shout out to that. Mirror image, still good, might be too little, but we'll have to see. I would rather nerf it too little than completely delete it from the game. Torrent resistance skin by default will be hard to bring to the field, let's be honest. It is already late game, you don't always have a totem, plus an increase here makes it more difficult. I don't hate this, I'm a bit skeptical, especially for other game modes than one-on-one. Lightning Orb, I personally still don't think this is really necessary, but it feels like they want to elevate Orc and Human Orbs to a very strong orb that Night Elf and Undead already have. It is a bit of a niche case, but Purge is already very strong. And I think, to me, this one was the big one, the 50 gold, so I'm glad it's gone. I still am not a fan of the Wyvern level reduction, so they give less XP. I think this is not necessary in conjunction with all the other buffs. All the nerfs to the wards are very, very, very much justified. We have to discuss if this is enough or not, but for sure the right direction. And Great Hall build time. Oh, this is surely something they didn't do before. So they shave off 5 seconds, and I think this is way more justified. Even though I have a problem with something else, so keep that in mind. Night Elf, still lumber reduction, I think is very good. This doesn't go far enough for me still. But, I mean, they get a buff in a different direction, so with that in mind, it's good. Moonstone, right thing to do. Ultravision, right thing to do. Orb of Venom, right thing to do. Deleting Mana Burn, right thing to do. Keeper, Mountain Giant, I still like to see a buff to the upgrades rather than the MG. Keeper is awesome. I love this. Very, very much love this. I don't really know what this would do. Chimera movement speed, 40 movement speed sounds like a lot. This might be crazy. But someone else has to enlighten me. Moonglaive. So you can then play Huntress Dryads. You can for sure play Huntress Dryads. Dondo, I'm gonna call you in a bit. Let me go through this once again. Since this is locked behind tier 2, I'm not an uber hater. I'm really interested in this. Heavy armor type is surely something that's missing on tier 2. This is very experimental, I hope. Added a persistent visual effect so the model changes. This is crazy. Fairy Dragon Mana Flare is not able to be toggled off. So yeah, you can cancel it and you're not locked in that position. This is surely, I mean, this requires more micro, so it's effectively not a buff for Night Elf players. Vorpal Blades could be insane as well with +10. But this is gonna be crazy, but I'm willing to experiment and to discuss this. But I like that, man. Those are the changes that I wanted to see in the first version already. That is interesting. That is interesting. And these changes everywhere. Humans get the orb, which is definitely too strong, but it's interesting. Orcs got their interesting stuff last time. Night Elves are getting their interesting huntresses. Microable flare. Lumber. Wait, it's missing here, right? The wisp change? Yeah, wisp change is missing here. So this is crazy. In a good way. I would have to do the math what this really means. Like, this is a 12% lumber increase, right? That sounds like a lot. But I realize the weakness of Night Elf lumber. It's a persistent issue in Warcraft. I think also across all skill ranges, it is absolutely an issue. So the question is, should you rather keep the gather rate the same and nerf a lot of lumber cost across the Night Elves? Or is it better to help with the lumber gathering? And that I am seriously too dumb for and too inexperienced with Night Elf. So, I don't know. But yeah, that is uber risky. But it's a problem. So, it is something that is addressed that can be discussed now. If that is a direction they are willing to go, this is something that can be feedbacked. Here I need some numbers that I don't know from the top of my head. So the big, like, it's still behind tier 2, right? It's still behind tier 2. It can, I don't know, is there a cooldown on this thing? You can basically get rid of a water elemental level 2. And have 1 extra dispel. I love this versus Hex. If you can get there. But the 4, I think 4 charges is an issue to me. But someone who's better with numbers can probably talk about this better. I think this is too much. This should be less good versus Treants, right? How much damage is it now? It's still 200, so it takes away the AoE. I think this still will be 3 in the end. So it should be better for Treants, or is it not? Treants have 300 HP. On level 2, you get 900 HP because it's 3. You can't you can one-shot them on level 1, I guess. This is still good, I think. This is still good. This is still good. This is still good-ish. Even though I have a couple of reservations, but since we get a flying machine nerf, maybe that's fine. Narrow Tower is a bit better than before. They nerf Gargoyle and Gyro with the same amount, right? 25? Yeah. So that interaction stays the same. Both have a harder time catching chimeras. I like that they reduce the damage while nerfing the movement speed. That's cool. All right. Yep, still a couple of things have very much the potential to be broken, but I am surely interested. So let me get one more recap for all races. Huge buff that will never stay in this. Big human nerfs. I think this is too many human nerfs, actually. They should probably select a few of them. Well, with defense, you can argue it's above. But this is core. This is core versus undead. Blood Mage gets hit very hard, but I think it's justified. I would not do this. I think you want to attack Pally Rifle, but this is also influencing human undead a lot. I think this is too much. Orc should still have a great time. They are not getting a single meaningful nerf, right? Am I missing something? Yeah, they're not getting a single meaningful nerf. And IMO, they are in a good spot already. And with the human nerfs, I think Orc will be a lot stronger than human. Night Elf, like, it depends so much on the Huntress Armor type. Like, this could dominate almost every matchup. Right? It's so hard to say. Like, Lumber is a core, like, such a core buff. It's only a change from 7 to 8. I think this is such a small line that has an insane impact. This, yeah, let's, can we exclude this kind of? Otherwise, I like that they push fairy dragons. Could be fun, could be useful. This is fair. This is fair. Oh, this is so hard to judge. Like, Night Elf in a way better spot. Way better spot. Alongside the Banish nerf, alongside the Militia nerf, they will probably start to obliterate human. We'll see. Undeads, they get quite some nerfs. Fiends get a nudge, but I don't think this is gonna revolutionize matchups. Undead will... I mean, the human nerfs are gigantic buffs to everyone else, right? The human nerfs are a gigantic buff to orcs. The human buffs are a gigantic buff to Night Elf, and the human... I misspoke. The human nerfs are a gigantic buff to everyone else. Yeah, as I said, the human nerfs are too much in that combination. Dondo is ready to be called. Let's go. Maybe he can tell me.
Howdy.
Howdy. Tell me how wrong I am in my assessments.
I think you're more positive, I would guess, than a lot of people will be. I guess that's like the main thing. I think like I think the complete document now has like some 5-6 different potentially game-breaking stuff, which is like at some point you need to like we need to, or we, I guess, like the team decides, I guess, but probably needs to be addressed sooner or later. We'll see. I think they kind of at some point also now have to like stop adding more and more stuff, because the next time if they're going to add more, they need to do like a very harsh cut of stuff, because I mean we have 13 things I think for every race now, additional to neutral. I mean, you already said you kind of want to skip it, but I like it can't be over exaggerated how broken the Huntress change would be if it was just done as it is now.
Yeah. I didn't say I want to skip it per se. I wanted to like, this is gonna be crazy, and it's not surviving the patch, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, because like
not this way.
If you, the whole reason why that like kind of change has been discussed a lot and also been very hard to like find good values for is because if you want to make Huntresses heavy armor, especially not too late into the game, you need to do like a lot of compensatory changes, because hunts are by default probably the best melee unit, except that you're weak against piercing. Like that's the whole thing why they're not usable. Also because they've been stuck behind Hunter's Soul lumber costs, which makes it like the tech a bit expensive to get to. And now you kind of both make Hunter Holes cheaper, you also make wood a lot more faster to get over time, and then you also make them basically... I mean, I'm just like, I don't think there's a single matchup you couldn't go mass hunts and just win at tier 2. Like, human could never expand, because even if they survive like the first pressure, the Night Elf just returns with like a Naga second and heavy armor Huntresses. Human
also,
actually kind of doesn't
should be
have...
dead, right?
Yeah, I mean rifles can't do anything then. Because Huntresses with heavy armor is a lot better against rifles than bears will ever be.
Yeah.
Because of them. And also like the Moonglaive upgrade also makes the bounce one more, right? So it also increases the damage.
Oh, I understood it as the bouncy glaive is gone, but instead it's heavy armor.
I think it goes both for what I can tell, but who knows? We have to check the actual...
That would be crazy. Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm just like, but that it's like a change that kind of feels like almost like rage bait. Like I kind of struggle a bit to like, but I mean that's the thing. I actually think they probably just added it without thinking that much about it, which is then a tiny bit frustrating, but that's fine.
So
the Orb of Slow will be...
Can we stay there a little? Like, originally Moonglaves was a tier 3 upgrade, so if you push it back, that would compensate a little, right? Because it's an entire attack. But that would then again make Huntress more or less useless, because there's so many counters to Huntress with unarmored on tier 2.
Yeah, except, I mean, the race that probably would suffer even more than anyone. I don't know, kind of hard to know. Okay, a tier 3 I think still will suffer is probably Orc. Because now you get just more of a prerogative to use the mass tier 1 strategy, get to tier 3, and then you have heavy armor Huntresses in front of archers.
Yeah.
I legit don't see like how Orc could ever counter, if they have the stats they have now, right? Like ever counter mass hunt, mass archer with heavy armor.
So they'd probably have to lose a lot of HP.
Yeah, and the issue is like that's like the whole thing that has been the whole discussion, right? If you want to keep it behind an upgrade, they need to be substantial. Like either the tech needs to be super late and super omega expensive.
Yeah.
Because of the, I feel, especially against Orc, or they need to be very... Like, if you want to keep it behind the tech, if the tech is pretty fast available, they need to be, like, omega bad, so it's almost like you lose the game by default before that, so, like, the opponent has a chance to counter it. Like, it would be probably more elegant if you want to do this change to basically do the whole stat change as a default thing, right? Basically now they have heavy, but they have stats that prefer that. But that would be very... Like, you need to do a lot of calculations, I think, to do that properly.
Yeah, it feels like it's almost impossible to realize the entire impact of that change with just thinking about it for like 5 minutes, what we're doing here.
Yeah, and also I'm just like thinking Knight of Mirror. Oh my god. Warpro Glade upgrades. I mean, they don't do it bonus damage anymore, but they'll still do quite a bit of damage, right? Just sitting behind the tank. Like, a backline or a front line of huntresses with heavy armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That change scares me quite a bit for sure. I mean, beyond quite a bit. I also think like is there stuff here that's like you just look and then you don't think and then you look again. Chimera's now being faster than all units and most heroes, or equal fast to heroes.
And 2 core anti air units of other races get nerfed in movement speed. So both at the same time.
I wonder if the Garg changes because then the flying machine changed, but then Gargs are now slower than hippos.
That's a big hippo buff, actually.
Yeah, it's a big hippo buff. It's a big dryad buff, right? Because like you can't. It's a lot. You're gonna lose more trying to run away now.
Yep.
Yeah. It's also a big buff to orc in my head because like Gargs go in, right? To go out. Now they get slower into before they are able to engage the wyverns, the bats, etc.
Didn't even think about that. Yeah, for sure.
You have like the Nova change and the slower Gargs, right?
And you have the wyvern nerf with XP.
Yeah.
Those things, my like, god, that's a nightmare for Undead.
Yeah. And if somehow the game transitions into late tier 3, I still think maybe I actually still think the magic community sentries are going to be broken, even with these stats. 50 damage, 25 damage might be enough, but it's still like you still have to hit every single stasis ward with a non-magic unit.
Yeah.
It's basically for Undead, it's only going to be fiends.
Yep.
You're forced into mass fiends and against Lich, I guess. Orc that is camping with resistant skin torrents and stun wards. It's just like you can make the scenarios for a lot of these changes that are, of course, like this is a very, it's like I'm more of a doomer than I'm like a happy-go-lucky guy. So it's like pretty, I just go this way naturally. But you can create like a lot of very, very bad scenarios, I think, from a lot of these changes.
Yeah, this is like, I immediately realized like 2 or 3 interactions, but now I talk to you for like 4 minutes and I have 8 new interactions in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, can I like create one more? I think like is funny.
Yeah.
You creep a camp that usually gave you a potion of rejuvenation with a demon hunter, right? You get vampiric potion, and then you go into the human expo attempt with 6+ damage and 50% lifesteal.
Yeah.
20 seconds. You don't lose. So you basically kill every single peasant.
Yeah.
The human barely survives, and you return with like the second push with Naga and 7 heavy armor huntresses. It's just like, okay. And if you're lucky, you might pick up the Rune of Lesser Healing on the way, which is not that good anymore, but still, like, yeah, you get it. It's pretty strong.
Oh, shit.
So there's like situations like this. The Orb of Slow is interesting, and the fact that it's gonna be, I think, situationally Omega broken sometimes in FFA, for instance. I see it, but it's also, I think, some people also like in some games it's gonna be basically an orb that procs slow 15%, let's say, against the hero, while a sorceress casts slow 100%. It's like super situational if that's like good or bad. I think, yeah, I think it's like it could, for instance, be super strong against creep camps, but at that point you're tier 3. Does that matter anymore?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
We don't know if it stacks, right? But it really shouldn't stack with slow.
Yeah, I think someone tested it and it was apparently you can dispel it, but I mean it's gonna proc again and again. But again, like slow,
you can dispel the orb effect?
Apparently, yeah.
That's funny.
So yeah, it sounds very wonky to me. Also breaks the like orb of fire, orb of lightning, the like elemental thing, but that's, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, and I mean, I wonder what the flying machine nerf is like related to.
They are incredibly strong.
They are, but I feel like one of their, like, if you're ever going to like to address them somehow, maybe reverting that tier 2 upgrade thing is more natural. It's more the fact that, I don't know, maybe I just like They're also weak, like health-wise. Now they get slower. You can't chase destroyers, I guess, which is like the main benefit. They're also this is also like a big hippo buff, by the way.
Yeah. So this is quite a big Undead Destroyer buff. I think it was in a perfect world with perfect micro that nobody will ever achieve, but in a perfect world, one flying machine could never lose to a destroyer, I think, was the interaction. This is definitely changed now.
Yeah. And also that double nerf to Siphon. I mean, Siphon I don't think matters that much, but it's still there, right? So it's like a triple nerf to Blood Mage with the Holy Light change. I think the Holy Light, like if you only want to address Pala Rifle, I think the Holy Light change is more meaningful than a Banish change, because Banish, I feel like in Pala Rifle strategies, you don't spam Banish the same way. I think the Banish cooldown change is mostly impacting Night Elf Human, like general standard gameplay.
Yeah.
Where
it is helpful.
You kind of,
and this is one of the things that is incredibly frustrating as a player who plays against it, like comparable to Entangle or something, if it's that spammable. So I think regardless of any balance discussion, it's very healthy for the game if Banish has any sort of cooldown.
Yeah, but I just wonder, like, is the 4 seconds? I wonder like how it's gonna work, because probably maybe you even need like level 4 Blood Mage to make much use against Elf with that change. I'm not sure. Depends. Needs to be tested for sure. I do get the like the intuition behind it though. What more? Like, what more is there to discuss in this thing? I mean, yeah, I think this sum of this will make human against both orc and elf pretty darn frustrating. I think the elf changes are like, for all the wine that might be actually like fair enough that humans got like incremental buffs for a long time. This is like a big sum of buffs for elf, even if you disregard the Moonglaive upgrade, I think. So you get like you get the same strength demon hunter. You basically lose 1 armor on the ring, I guess. If it's not changed, just get the potential of like a super strong item that really scales with the DH play. If you don't go DH, you now have a slightly stronger keeper. Not that big, but it's impactful. It gets 50 more HP, I would think, at that level 5. And then you get less wood for Nature's Blessing, less wood for Hunter's Soul. You get 12.5% faster wood gathering.
Yeah, I can't I can't imagine how much that is in a game. Like, what does that mean for the tech timings? What does that mean for upgrade timings? I have no clue.
No, I'm not sure either, but I do think like over a game, if you said someone had 10% faster wood gathering, it would matter quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. It for sure needs to be like tested. The thing is like, how do we test it? But I will see.
Yeah.
It's one of those changes that need like a lot of testing.
Last time I talked on some lumber changes, it was the human upgrades. It's quite some time ago. And I initially thought it's super broken. And it turned out it wasn't broken at all. It was helpful, for sure. And it was solid. But it wasn't nearly as broken as I thought. So I'm a bit more reserved on my judgment this time and learned the lesson.
Yeah, I would think that like lumber gather rates are more generally impactful than like single costs for single stuff though. Like, it's just by nature, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
yeah. It's a lot of, I also like wonder, like, there's like stuff where also like it's not a big deal, but do we need the Nerubian attack speed reduced from 1.3 to 1.15?
Wasn't that in your doc?
Like the change? No, I had Nerubian Tower gets magic damage to help with human.
You sure?
Yep.
Yeah, we don't need that anymore now with these patches.
I mean, the fun thing is, I'm actually not sure that this would help human undead for undead that much, except Pala Rifle.
Well, militia
armor, I guess, matters a bit.
Yep.
humans already didn't get orbital fire that often actually against Undead anymore. They prioritize staffs instead. And they still should be able probably to survive the early pressure and still cancel the gold mine, even with 0.15 faster in Ruby. And I don't think that is enough for like to stop that cancel data more often. It's pretty small change in practice.
I mean,
and then you just get nuked by mass griffins, no?
Yeah, without the anti-magic shell, yep.
Yeah.
So you could argue that a fast attack with this wand of negation with the double charges helps against water elementals, but then it's probably too late because it's tier 2.
Yeah, I wonder.
Nova-
Like, I think tier 2, like you cancel it before that, right? You make the decision to tech or not tech.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because it's tier 2,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean much. It might help against like slaughterhouse pushes and distracting human pushes, but not for the expo play. Anti-magic shell against griffins is big. Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
And
you said it earlier. I think the biggest buff for this one of negation would be against Hex, probably.
Yeah, that's yeah, exactly my point as well. Plus, against griffins, the Gargs also got nerfed, which will hurt a bit.
And Nova range also matters a tiny bit there. So yeah, I mean, Orc is gonna stomp all over human, I think. Even with, I guess, yes. I mean, the Great Hall build time now is not that big, but I don't know.
I think I like that change with the Great Hall, like in an isolated case.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine to test it. I mean, I don't mind it. It's 5 seconds as well, so it's gonna be like I guess the problem with conservative changes, and I know this better than anyone because I always propose like super conservative changes, is that it's gonna be very hard to actually measure the difference. I think.
Yeah.
Like, will you ever be able to tell a game that like with those 5 seconds that game switched completely? I'm not sure, but I mean, you still have resistance skin torrents, right? They cost 20. They cost more resources now. But
yeah, but when will you ever get them?
Yeah, that is the question, I guess. No, it's gonna be. I know it's so much stuff. It's kind of hard to like keep track of. I do think human elf. I mean, if there's one matchup, I would say it's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be human elf. It was probably the closest elf had to a decent matchup already, maybe except orc.
Yeah.
And now I think it's gonna be, pretty darn rough. I mean, I'm just gonna in my head imagine that the Huntress change is not going to go through, or at least not going to go through as is stated by now.
I gotta
but
say,
that like Chimera change is also pretty impactful, actually.
I agree. They were like slow carrier kind of type of units, and this I have to see it to really see the difference of 40 movement speed. Can't really imagine how much that effectively is and what the interactions are, but that sounds hella strong. And they were held back by banish mostly, right? I got so bored of that matchup when a blood mage is in, but Demon Hunter Bears Metamorph, we saw a lot of Metamorph being banished, and that then with the cooldown, it's gonna be rough for sure.
Yeah, but if the demon has meta, you still have level 4 blood mage usually, right?
Yeah, but then
probably
that goes on the cost of like another bear.
Yeah,
something.
Sure.
Like if you banish that, something else won't be banished at that time. But I mean, let's be honest with the Huntress, everything dies before, so it doesn't matter anyway. I gotta say, I was really rough to the Blizzard team in the first patch, and I really didn't like it. Now, I don't envy them because they put themselves in the position for sure, but this is not easy to handle anymore.
No, it's become, because it's so much different stuff now, it goes in like all directions. It's going to be very hard to like find a. But I guess like the main critique I put for still kind of suits, because since they again haven't stated a target or targets, So like where they're gonna go from now is kind of, I don't know, like if they had their targets ready, it would be more easy to critique in terms of that, right? We want to make human weaker against this. We want to make orc stronger against this.
Yeah.
We could like say, okay,
Yeah.
you made that, but like if you said you wanted to make orc not weaker against elf, this has not changed that, right? At all, for
Yeah.
instance. Probably, depending on how strong the wards are. But otherwise,
I can
elf
truly see directions better with this version, but I mean, one direction is we want to make orc ground more usable versus undead. But why would anybody go ground now with all the buffs to air?
Yeah, but yeah, orc undead is actually interesting. Like, does the buffs to wind riders over and the nerf to no range overcome the fact that hex doesn't do anything when you get the shadow hunter out?
It was mostly used for creeping, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yes and no. I think like you also saw quite a bit of like insta aggression to like try to pick it. Was depending, I guess, on the map and like the positioning, etc. But yeah, probably. But it's still important that you have that item because you usually like you feel like in that matchup more than anyone, you kind of quite sometimes run out of the spell because you need to run destroyers back.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. Yeah, just like tier 3 elf against human is also one thing I'm thinking about. Like mountain giants are a bit of a meme unit, but they're fairly strong if the like just to tank damage when the hero levels get high enough. And you have like 6-foot MGs and you have very very fast chimeras.
Are mountain giants redundant now that we have hunters with heavy armor?
Yeah, I mean the heavy armor huntresses are just like I kind of would just want to put them in my mind that it's not going to happen anyhow.
Yeah, it's what I said as well. Like, yeah.
But I also think the Warple Blades upgrade, like it sounds like a meme. I also wonder how that affects Mirror actually. It's not important in my head because I don't play Elf Mirror, but I mean, isn't like Mass Huntress is already like semi standard, and like Warple Blades getting more damage might actually affect that matchup a bit. So stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff to keep track of here, and very hard to know what the end goal of everything is. But yeah, and also yeah. I mean, a lot of work. That's the way I put it.
Yep. Did anybody check what the visual changes to Hunters?
Yeah, it's posted as somewhere in Discord. I saw it earlier. Maybe in Back to Warcraft Discord, actually. I think in your main chat.
In our chat?
Yeah. Main channel. You are.
Oh, I'm tagged, actually. Oh, let me see. So they are glowing a bit, apparently, huh? Oh, yeah, thing is right here. Okay, so the glaive is glowing.
So you can see that you're about to die, Kappa.
It's very similar to what they did with Sundering Blades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at these guys.
Good.
Look at these. You'll see them a lot.
So yeah. I mean, it's. I feel like it's semi-interesting that they take like time to then add the visual effect because that's like thing I feel like the old team wouldn't do. They would just like put it on and then just.
I mean,
just have to.
They did it for Sundering Blades.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but I feel like there's somewhat attention to detail. But then I also feel like some of these changes kind of lack attention to details. No, it's fascinating. I find the whole list like I don't know I'm a bit perplexed. The vampiric potion we already like said. I think is still super. I think it's broken at that level, like beyond. Like yeah, I think it's an insane item, basically.
Especially on that drop table, right? It's such an early game item.
And it's the way when you get it, because there's so many creep camps that are like you're doing this on the way to harass. Either it doesn't always humans, like can be any matchup, right? When you're like you take this camp to then harass on the way. Yeah, I guess it works for range heroes as well, right? So
yeah, it does.
I mean, so imagine the human have like a creep out the other way, right? Where they get this item.
I feel like it should be a solid level 3 item.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit too weak, situational. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, 50% life steal, 6% damage. The thing that scares me about the items is just like it feels very snowbally. Like if you are like slightly ahead, like this item just gives you like the win instantly. Would be the way I'm thinking of it.
I like it as a level 3 item because for level 2 you get it so quickly and so close to others' expansion and bases. You pick it, you go into an economy line, you harass it as you said. With a level 3 item, those are sprinkled across the map that it's not that close to bases. Is there more of a mid-game item? Like if you imagine Turtle Rock, it's in the middle. On Hammerfall, it's in the middle. On Last Refuge, it's in the middle. It's always somewhere in the middle. It's not that close to a base. While the level 2 items always are.
Yeah.
I
the
mean,
Rune of Lesser Healing is not good anymore, probably, right? In the other way. I'm not sure. Maybe it is.
I mean, Lesser Healing can be a level 2.
Yeah, I just like that's not that impressive anymore. 75 health.
The good thing about this is though, about these item thingies, if this is too strong, the map makers can just delete them from the drop table and use a custom drop table.
That's fair. Not on BNet, I guess, but
who cares? Let's be honest.
The lesser healing is the one thing I don't like about like that kind of item is that I guess it's just like an activation item, right? You put a jump on it and it just gives you the health instantly.
I would assume.
Yeah, and those kind of items you need to know where drops, like I feel like for them to have use, right? So you creep for that item. But here you can have like if you creep with the Farser and Headhunters, it's like okay, thanks for nothing.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's like so it's only useful if you kind of like hope you get it. So you have like a lot of you just basically don't summon water elementals to then take damage to your footman, right? Like some kind of situation like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't feel like natural as an item because most items you creep with the intention to get them. And here's more like, oh, I got it. It's either going to be somewhat useful or completely useless. Yeah. But yeah.
I got an update from Toxie, shout out Toxie, who says they didn't change mana flare, they changed phase shift. You could always interrupt mana flare. Now you can interrupt phase shift, move the unit when it's hidden.
Does that do anything? I guess maybe. I mean, maybe phase shift now is pretty strong then.
Is it though?
I don't know. It feels very micro intensive to do that with a lot of units, but I guess you phase shift. I kind of wonder, like, does that matter? I'm not sure. If they wanted to, I feel like they tried maybe to buff fairy dragons by nerfing flying machines. Maybe that was like the intention.
Mm-hmm. But their main problem is rifles.
Yeah. So like, I still think like if you wanted actually buff fairy dragons usability against casters, you probably just need to increase their AoE like ability, how like far their range is for their mana flare. So you have to get closer to kill, or you can stand further away, basically. But yeah.
Yeah, when I read this, it felt like, couldn't you interrupt mana flare already?
Yeah, of course you could. Yeah, like you just read it and then you just take it. We should not take these notes for granted. Like, we also need to test if the stuff is actually in the PTR, before we like over.
Can we start games on the PTR now? Because on the last version, I wasn't able to create a game.
We will see. I'll try to play a few, see how that huntresses are. I guess will be pretty rough to deal with.
It is so loud.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of people wanting to talk, I think. I know Dark, Savorkas, like if you want to talk to them, I'll jump over.
I'm actually done. If you're done, I don't want to spend 5 hours again. People can gladly.
No, I think it's good to take. This is like so much big changes. I feel like I need to write down my notes or something. It's like kind of hard to just free flow it.
Yeah, people can post stuff and people can do their videos, and yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm not, maybe at some point I'm doing a talk round, but I'm not doing that. Yeah, I can't. I'm too tired. But interesting times. I will try to get phase shift to work. I don't know if I started a. Wait, I can share my screen actually. Where is it? I want to know how that behaves then. But how do I activate phase shift? Can I activate phase shift?
We'll find out. Hey, can you activate it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess you couldn't. I thought this is like auto casted, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
you
You have to be attacked.
But yeah. We'll find out.
Well, I'm on stream now. Let's see.
You can activate it according to, but I mean, you usually turn on autocast so people don't think about it. But I do think you can turn off autocast and then, basically you can just manually click it, right?
Oh, I need an Engine of Wonder. See how this is how little I know about Night Elf. Never comment on Night Elf again, yo.
Your building is complete.
I'm watching the stream now, so I'm a bit delayed as well.
Let's
see.
So this is the interaction, right? You can click it. Right.
Turn off the autocast. You don't have to, just in case creep turns up or something.
Yeah, I can though. But right, usually it stays like this, and now I can just cancel it.
Yeah. I'm like thinking, can that be strong at any point? Like if you, but mass fairies are like weak because of the damage nerf, but they were also like a bit gimmicky in the fact that like if you try to run away, they kind of were like eternally stuck because of the phase shift thingy. But it seems very gimmicky for that to matter at all.
You think any Night Elf has the micro to make that useful?
I'm not even sure it's a good thing. Because, I mean, phase shift does actually make the unit invisible and doesn't take damage for a second or two, right?
Yeah. 1 second.
And now you kind of move it so it just instantly takes the damage again.
I'd say
so
no.
This is one of those interactions I would be a tiny bit afraid of. Like, you can make them, like, invincible against, like, Gyros because of, like, some you get, like, these invisibility frames that never, like, go out if you have enough mana. Who knows?
Yep.
Weird. It's a weird change. I don't think maybe it doesn't do anything, and also not sure what it helps with. I wonder where they got it from. Yeah, basically like the messay. I think exactly what I was thinking of. Like if a fairy dragon gets attacked, usually it kind of just gets caught behind with their like, and your army runs away. Now you can run with the army to a certain extent.
Kind of, yep.
I feel like the only matchup you see fairies now are against human, and you usually like die because they're in mana flare form, and they're like stuck behind. I don't know, maybe.
Let's see the new chimeras.
Oh yeah, they're gonna be fast boys.
Stuff's about to change. Human supremacy is over.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that if all these changes would go through. I would not worry about human supremacy that much now.
Nope.
More lumber is required.
I mean, the good thing is like if you like casting Night Elf mirrors, there's a lot of players.
Did I not start a single player game? What? Oh, maybe I didn't. Oopsie. It was a custom game, I think. Yeah, hopefully I mean, the main crux is like the Huntress. And then if the Huntress is not there anymore or changed, we can discuss all the other stuff. But like, it's all about the Huntress right now, it seems.
Yeah, I think so. Like it's also because it scales so well with the other buffs, self-forgetting.
Yep.
So it's like kind of
Can't
impossible.
go
Like
there.
so, you get more wood, you get faster tier 2 because of that. Because one of the part of getting huntresses is the hunter soul, and then huntresses go well with X-Playing, and the keeper goes well with X-Playing. Both of them are buffed, and then the ultravision is faster, so you get more use of that maybe.
Upgrade
Though it's very
finished.
situational, because quite often you get it before the next night anyways with the old timing.
Your
But let's say
building
it
is
matters.
complete.
So like it has this cascading effect, right? Moonstone is now a bit stronger, which also helps, of course, for
Right.
huntresses.
Chimera speed. Holy shit. They fast. That feels
Yeah.
like a Garg almost.
Yeah, I mean it's faster than normal units, so it's same speed as all heroes, right? 290, like the normal heroes.
Oh, that's not just a hero, right?
At last.
I mean, for me, it's just like intuitively also feels wrong, right? They're supposed to be like a huge heavy unit, and they're like slim, fast.
Well, you know,
Skyliners.
big dragons are fast as well.
True, but they do take some time to speed up, though. I feel like
We must act.
this guy just flaps instantly to 290 MS.
I be damned.
But imagine if that was also like a meaningful stat in Warcraft, like acceleration.
Thirsts.
Yep, it's pretty fast.
Time.
Yeah, and also like of course air units help with not having having to go through the path finding,
Yeah.
right? So speed matters even more. Yeah, I think that changes. Like you still have to get to them, but it just feels unnecessary. Like I don't know. I kind of stand by my point that chimeras were useless because it was expensive to get to, and they took like 2 hours to build, and you didn't have wood for them. But they were not bad units to attack ground, right? So
I'd
I
agree.
don't know.
Yeah, I'd agree. They can delete buildings very quickly as well.
And you also will have a lot of harder time, I think, to reach them now with flying machines because of the flying machine hippo interaction.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of stuff for Night Elf has always boiled down to like cost, especially lumber. And now lumber is fixed, but also a lot of other stuff on top. So maybe that's broken, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, I think for chimps, I also think that change. I personally just think that change should be removed. I just don't think they should have 290 speed. It's just like they're so much faster than worms now, etc. But I do think you could like reduce the build time for chimrus, maybe cost even as well. That's like because it still take 2 hours to get them.
Yeah. Good luck to all players in FFA. This is gonna be fun for you.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
1-4.
should change. Like some of these changes, like we talked about 1v1, some of these changes are going to make FFA completely horrible, right? I don't know. Like immune wards is like sounds super cancerous. Fast chimeras just means base trading. I mean, Neolami is going to get more money, I guess.
He's washed. It's all Sheik.
Not with this.
all,
Not with this.
It's all the orcs now, man. Orc supremacy in FFA. But hey, that's so niche. I don't want to go into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, Dondo, you opened my eyes with a lot of interactions that are possible. I am, as always, when I talk to you, less excited than before.
I'm sorry about that.
No, man, this was fun. Huntress needs changes, and the rest is let's see what sticks.
Yeah, need to start whittling down things. I think everything that needs to be added now from this way. I mean, I'm not the team here, so they can do what they want. But I think things that are going to be added from here needs to have like a very clear purpose. You kind of need to at some point to like not give like 8 new random different changes, because you need to know what the word I'm looking for. Curate, yeah. Like you need to cultivate the changes at some point instead of just like this list of 40 things, 50 things, now 70 things, right?
Yeah.
So.
But what I can say positively, that we will surely have new interactions that we currently don't have. This was, with the exception of Orc, completely missing in the first version. And I am surely more interested what's happening now.
I agree. Oh, yeah. I mean, at least I'm curious.
Yep. I really wasn't curious that I wasn't excited about the last patch. I am excited in a good and bad way about this patch.
Yeah, and I'm a bit more skeptical, but they can probably convince me if they work hard on it.
I mean, we still have like usually 2 iterations, right? We're like halfway. So
Yeah.
first one was very one-sided. Now we kind of blow it up to all possible sides, except the human side, which gets heavily deflated, which to a degree is reasonable, but maybe not to this extent. And then we'll see what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Good.
I have to write my thoughts, I think.
Yeah. Write comments, everybody. They're reading a lot, apparently, because a lot was addressed. Maybe not everything in the way that we all want, but is there anything we all want? I don't think so. Neytpoh's got very, very meaningful buffs that was criticized before. The wards were addressed, as was discussed. Tauren, a little bit of compensation. Lightning Orb as well. So, in a way, the direction is the right one, but it's still a lot of work.
Yeah, and I also say like it's still not very matchup focused.
Yeah.
Which I think might show itself to be a bigger issue than we're like be able to like think about now.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Dondo, thank you very much.
Good talking to you, Neo.
Always. Now, have a good night.
Same to you. Good night.
Alrighty, everybody. I will, as I said, not do a 5-hour talk this time. Create the content yourself. This time, I am like Dach Inferno. DWCC is right over. Warcraft III Champions Finals, B Cup, FFA tonight. What else? Patch feedback. Like I'm at a crazy limit right now. Like we have a little bit of an urgent situation with the Dach Inferno as well. Like I am beyond my limit. So sorry that I'm not doing a talk show tonight. Create videos, upload them to YouTube, spread them, post everything. But yeah, I can't today. Hope you understand, and we'll talk to each other very soon. Tomorrow, amazing B Cup day starts at 1 p.m. We got Starbuck vs Lawlight. Anybody not hyped about Starbuck vs Lawlight winner bracket semifinal, guys? We also got Soin and Voldemort, and then the winner faces 1-2-0. So potential Soin vs 1-2-0 game. Mega hyped, as well as Francis versus Edo in Dach Inferno. Freaking lovely day of Warcraft once again. So thank you all. We'll see each other tomorrow. Take care and spread the word.
My daddy was a gambling man with no strategy. Who gives a shit about him anymore? Guess we never really settled the score. Half the town screaming out in vain, the other half is fake, but everybody's singing along. It's okay, we'll all soon be gone. Hey!